Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A distinguishing symbol. A writing implement for making a mark. Some conspicuous object used to distinguish or mark something. The buoys were markers for the channel. Celebrate by some ceremony or observation. The citizens marked the anniversary of the revolution with a march and a parade. Insert punctuation marks into. Establish as the highest level or best performance. Assign a grade or rank to, according to one's evaluation. Mark homework. Remove from a list. A symbol of disgrace or infamy. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain. A visible indication made on a surface. Some previous reader had covered the pages with dozens of marks. A person who is gullible and easy to take advantage of. A number or letter indicating quality, especially of a student's performance. She made good marks in algebra. A perceptible indication of something not immediately apparent, as a visible clue that something has happened. Something that exactly succeeds in achieving its goal. Hit the mark. An indication of damage. Formerly the basic unit of money in Germany. A distinguishing symbol. The owner's mark was on all the sheep. Apostle and companion of St. Peter, assumed to be the author of the second gospel. To accuse or condemn or openly or formally or brand as disgraceful. A marking that consists of lines that cross each other. Make small marks into the surface of. A reference point to shoot at. His arrow hit the mark. The shortest of the four Gospels in the New Testament. Put a check mark on or near or next to. Mark off the units. Be a distinctive feature, attribute, or trait, sometimes in a very positive sense. Attach a tag or label to. Notice or perceive. Mark my words. Mark with a scar. Make underscoring marks. A written or printed symbol, as for punctuation. His answer was just a punctuation mark. Designate as if by a mark. This sign marks the border. Make or leave a mark on. The scouts marked the trail. The impression created by doing something unusual or extraordinary that people notice and remember. It was in London that he made his mark. Evaluation of performance by assigning a grade or score. A distinguishing symbol. A pattern of marks. The act of making a visible mark on a surface. Something visible that by association or convention represents something else that is invisible. The eagle is a symbol of the United States. An arbitrary sign, written or printed, that has acquired a conventional significance. An implement that is used to write. A man-made object taken as a whole. A man-made object taken as a whole. Mark with a brand or trademark. A distinctive characteristic or attribute. A formally registered symbol identifying the manufacturer or distributor of a product. Register the trademark of. The company trademarked their new gadget. A mark on an article of trade to indicate its origin and authenticity. A mark on an article of trade to indicate its origin and authenticity. Validating the authenticity of something or someone. A line marking the level reached by a body of water. A distinguishing mark impressed on paper during manufacture, visible when paper is held up to the light. A name given to a product or service. A symbol of disgrace or infamy. A piece of wood that has been burned or is burning. Mark with a brand or trademark. When this product is not branded, it sells for a lower price. To accuse or condemn or openly or formally or brand as disgraceful. Mark or expose as infamous. She was branded a loose woman. A cutting or thrusting weapon that has a long metal blade and a hilt with a handguard. A recognizable kind. There's a new brand of hero in the movies now. Burn with a branding iron to indicate ownership of animals. Identification mark on skin, made by burning. A mark shaped like an arrowhead, used to mark convicts' clothing. An arrowhead mark identifying British government property. An arrow with a wide barbed head. Small rough-haired breed of terrier from Scotland. A mound of stones piled up as a memorial or to mark a boundary or path. Give or assign a resource to a particular person or cause. I will earmark this money for your research. A distinctive characteristic or attribute. Identification mark on the ear of a domestic animal. A mark on an article of trade to indicate its origin and authenticity. A distinctive characteristic or attribute. A job in an organization. An act that brings discredit to the person who does it. A small contrasting part of something. A bald spot. A lamp that produces a strong beam of light to illuminate a restricted area, used to focus attention of a stage performer. A point located with respect to surface features of some region. A bright spot on a planet. A mark on a die or on a playing card, shape depending on the suit. An outstanding characteristic. A small piece or quantity of something. A spot of tea. A slight attack of illness. Detect with the senses. A blemish made by dirt. Make a spot or mark onto. The wine spotted the tablecloth. Catch sight of. Mar or impair with a flaw. A business establishment for entertainment. Night spot. A playing card with a specified number of pips on it to indicate its value. An 8 spot. A section of an entertainment that is assigned to a specific performer or performance. They changed his spot on the program. A short section or illustration, as between radio or TV programs or in a magazine, that is often used for advertising. Become spotted. This dress spots quickly. Mark with a spot or spots so as to allow easy recognition. Spot the areas that one should clearly identify. A mark on a die or on a playing card, shape depending on the suit. Hit with a missile from a weapon. A radar echo displayed so as to show the position of a reflecting surface. Kill by firing a missile. Defeat thoroughly. A disease of poultry. A minor nonspecific ailment. A small hard seed found in some fruits. Stamp with a postmark to indicate date and time of mailing. A cancellation mark stamped on mail by postal officials indicates the post office and date of mailing. Trade name of a company that produces musical recordings. The artists and repertoire department of a recording label is responsible for finding new talent. Pronounce judgment on. They labeled him unfit to work here. Attach a tag or label to. Label these bottles. A brief description given for purposes of identification. The label modern is applied to many different kinds of architecture. An identifying or descriptive marker that is attached to an object. A radioactive isotope that is used in a compound in order to trace the mechanism of a chemical reaction. Assign a label to. Designate with a label. These students were labeled, learning disabled. Distinguish, an element or atom, by using a radioactive isotope or an isotope of unusual mass for tracing through chemical reactions. Distinguish, as a compound or molecule, by introducing a labeled atom. Stone post at side of a road to show distances. Stone post at side of a road to show distances. A significant event in your life, or in a project. A holder attached to the gunwale of a boat that holds the oar in place and acts as a fulcrum for rowing. Small markers inserted into a surface to mark scores or define locations, etc. A prosthesis that replaces a missing leg. A wooden pin pushed or driven into a surface. Succeed in obtaining a position. Informal terms for the leg. Fasten or secure with a wooden pin. Peg a tent. Pierce with a wooden pin or knock or thrust a wooden pin into. Regulator that can be turned to regulate the pitch of the strings of a stringed instrument. Stabilize, the price of a commodity or an exchange rate, by legislation or market operations. The weak currency was pegged to the US dollar. A holder attached to the gunwale of a boat that holds the oar in place and acts as a fulcrum for rowing. Small markers inserted into a surface to mark scores or define locations, etc. To hold fast or prevent from moving. The child was pinned under the fallen tree. When a wrestler's shoulders are forced to the mat. Cylindrical tumblers consisting of two parts that are held in place by springs. When they are aligned with a key, the bolt can be thrown. Axis consisting of a short shaft that supports something that turns. A number you choose and use to gain access to various accounts. Flagpole used to mark the position of the hole on a golf green. Informal terms for the leg. A club-shaped wooden object used in bowling, set up in triangular groups of 10 as the target. A piece of jewelry that is pinned onto the wearer's garment. A small, slender, often pointed, piece of wood or metal used to support or fasten or attach things. Attach or fasten with pins. Pin the needle to the shirt. Chess. Immobilize a piece. Pierce with a pin. Pin down the butterfly. A cosmetic used to highlight the eyes or cheekbones. A fluorescent marker used to mark important passages in a text. A marker, a piece of paper or ribbon, placed between the pages of a book to mark the reader's place. A marker, a piece of paper or ribbon, placed between the pages of a book to mark the reader's place. Football, a marker indicating the yard line.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.